Do you struggle with finding things in your home, or maybe remembering you have them at all and being frustrated each and every time? In this video, I'll share my ideas and plans for making my home fit my specific needs and tell you how you can find your own system too. One that works for you, so that you won't have the frustration I had while filming this video ever again. I've lived here for almost 15 years now, and I've always struggled with the same things, while apparently still being unable to do anything about it. I try to come up with solutions or follow those systems that supposedly work for everyone. Turns out, they don't for me. But I finally found one, or should I say created one. Should you have to do what I'm doing in this video yourself, then please do yourself a favor and start with a shelf for which you're almost certain you don't need to trash anything. In my case, that would have been my last shelf. Had I done that one first and the third one second, then I wouldn't have had to start out with basically trashing everything. I would have known there's also a lot that I'm not trashing. It's all about shifting perspective. And even though I feel awful about having to trash so much food, I know that it isn't helping anyone that I'm sitting here wanting to bawl my eyes out for this tremendous amount of guilt that I'm feeling. Not anyone who doesn't have any food, and especially not me. I'm actually typing this as I've just done the third shelf, because I don't want to forget sharing this with you. As I think where you start makes a huge difference with being able to shift perspective from all the food I'm trashing to all the food I'm keeping. Not to mention how I created a whole plan that I'm now implementing to prevent this from happening ever again. So I'm sharing this as always to be completely open about it, as I could have chosen to just not share this at all, and hopefully prevent you from making the same mistake I did and feeling as awful as I do right now for not being able to shift perspective. And I just refuse to believe I'm the only one that has these things happen to, and I want to share my solution to hopefully prevent this from happening ever again, and thus prevent the guilt from surfacing over and over. As I'm typing this, I'm waiting for my trays to arrive, so hopefully things will change then, as that feels like the improving my life part. I think a major takeaway you should get from this video is to really take the time to consider if something will work for you. Don't rush yourself. Let me take my pantry as an example again, and the reason I have to trash so much. Apart from the obvious of me forgetting it was even there to begin with. Several people gave me tips on how I should have a stash of non-perishable items in case there's ever a power outage or something where you just can't get new food. Which was much appreciated because I never really considered that and often felt like I'm really bad at adulting anyway, so I accepted this to be yet another thing I missed. I actually kinda hate having things in stock though, because the one thing I did realize is that I'm apparently unable to maintain an overview on things if there's too much there. It's the reason I consciously made the decision earlier to not have anything in stock. Nevertheless, I thought I really should keep a stock with non-perishables indeed. My brain added it would need to be a variety. Yes, a variety of non-perishables. Sounded like a plan. So that's what I did. Buy a variety of non-perishables. Randomly. I now know this has to do with executive dysfunctioning. When there's too many steps, my brain just kind of fries and either does nothing or does random things instead. Because of me being unable to maintain an overview, I ended up not seeing it anymore, and so it all ended up in the trash. Thankfully, I now have a psychologist with whom I can talk through stuff, and we talked about me thinking about what kind of food I'd actually eat. Because yeah, I ended up buying things I don't even eat nor like. That's kind of what happens to me when the confusion hits. Somehow, that idea already brought me a lot of clarity, and thus helps with executive functioning. The next issue was my pantry though. There's no overview whatsoever. There wasn't even space to add new groceries, and so they ended up lying around in a grocery bag only to be forgotten all over again. So as to actually make it work this time around, I sat down and created a plan. Firstly, what would I eat? Because the thing with buying food that you actually eat is that you'll eat them even when there's no power outage or anything like that. And so you keep buying it and rotate through those food items. Try to actually rotate. Put new items in the back and then only eat the front ones, which is also known as the first in, first out system they use in inventory management, so as to prevent food waste. I mean, non-perishable or not, I'm just not at ease with having the same food lying around for years and years to come. Also because that messes up my sense of overview. Luckily, there are apparently a lot of full meals eaten that you can keep for years. And here I was still being stuck at beans and preserved veggies because that's what I know from when I was little. I found so many amazing things that I even improved my current eating habits while I was at it. Anyway, so I planned it all. Which foods to keep, how to keep it, how to organize it, how to make space in my pantry, how baskets would help me maintain an overview, and baskets for literally everything. So should you be confused about me putting a bag of oatmeal in a tiny basket that could have easily be put on the shelf without a basket, it's because I need it to maintain the form of overview that I said I needed. So all those baskets are sort of like a helping hand, and that's what this video is all about. Take that helping hand wherever you can, even when it seems foolish or whatever to someone else. If you feel like it will work for you, do it. I mean, you're not harming anyone by putting one bag of oatmeal in a teeny tiny container, right? Quite the opposite, actually, because you're clearing clutter in your mind by organizing things in ways that work for you, and thus prevent that frustration from occurring the way it does now. Now, should it seem to you like it's easy for me to do all this, then keep watching, because it's not. The thing for me is to plan every single step. It's like the discussion you might have seen happening over and over on doing the dishes. Does that include cleaning the sink, the counter, the floor? Write down each and every separate step. It's what I had to do. Organization-wise, I had to measure the shelves, measure the baskets, even measuring the food I planned on keeping in my pantry from now on. Yes, they don't all fit perfectly by accident. I measured them. Then I went on to create some logic with all those baskets. What kinds of food would fit into which baskets? I listed the 4 sizes of the baskets, and with it, the sizes of the foods. When I was done, I ordered the right amount of each basket size. Like I said in earlier videos, and is one of the main things I'm trying to get across on my channel, is to always keep in mind that you don't know what's going on behind the scenes of videos on social media. It might look like I'm doing this all just like that, but there's a lot going on in the background, and I'm trying to be as open as possible to help you realize that, and hopefully shift perspective if that's something you struggle with. Now, just as a quick disclaimer, I know it's not possible for everyone to just go ahead and buy all these baskets and create a system like this. I hope that if that's the case for you, that you can manage to look at a deeper meaning behind my words. Find what works for you, instead of taking something that works for others. I did buy the cheapest baskets available, but I still realize it's not something everyone can do. Like I said in previous videos, asking for likes and you to subscribe feels weird, but apparently YouTube won't show videos to people when no one likes and subscribes, so here I am feeling all awkward. Please like this video if you liked this video, and subscribe if you want more of these kinds of videos showing up on your timeline. The sense of calm and overview the upper shelf of my pantry gave me the second it was finished is indescribable. It's like fog has lifted from my brain or something. If you're watching the video while listening, then you might miss certain food items as I went on. That's because I ate them. It gave me so much mental space that while sitting on a couch, I just knew what was in there and what I could eat. So it already turns out to be perfect for me. Think it through. Try to visualize it, write it down, watch and listen to more videos. Try and find that clarity. Try not to be impulsive and just go ahead and do things because others said it will work. Find your own system. Can't find your keys or sunglasses or whatnot every time you have to step outside? Leave a basket in your hallway where you'll learn to put everything once you get home. Is your mail always lost? Get a tray that will serve as your mailbox from now on if you can't handle it right away. Find things that work for you to make life better, to prevent frustrations over these things, to just work with your brain instead of against it. Because even though you might feel frustrated with the way you are, the way you forget things, the way you lose everything, there are ways to make it better. To lift some of the hecticness in your brain and seeming inability to maintain an overview. And although that's not something that I can make like crystal clear in just one video, I do hope adding other tips and other related subjects in each and every video will help you see that too, so that we can all be a little happier. I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.